Hey everybody, Jim Malone here, coming to you live from Dallas Trading Floor. Well, it's the Friday after Thanksgiving. We had a little short day on the markets today. We were only basically we're closed early, but saw some significant movements in some stocks like Tesla. So that's very interesting. And what I kind of want to do on today's show, after I get through the just kind of the basic directional slides, is I want to kind of talk about some stocks that have moved very, very nicely, but are not part of a major index. So it's kind of interesting opportunity to take a look at some stocks that might, I don't know if they're going to be the next Tesla, but they definitely might be in the same ballpark. So without further ado, let's get to some of the slides here. Basically the market direction is still is still moving up, which is incredible considering everything. I don't know. I think there is going to be a pullback, but at least we haven't seen it yet. So there you go. I mean, the S&P 500 is up. It's 36. 38. The Dow Jones is up. It's just slightly lower than that 30,000, where it made an all-time high, basically the day before Thanksgiving. But we continue to power higher. It's not being totally well. It's not being evenly shared between all the stocks. The Nasdaq stocks seem to be doing better, and of course, that's where I kind of concentrate most of my activities in looking for opportunities is in the Nasdaq, because that's where many of the growth stocks list. But I want to show you the chart for the spider. The reason I always show this one is because this is basically, I use this as a proxy for the overall market to see kind of, what the general direction is. And of course, this is the world's largest ETF, and many people have their entire net worth and retirement savings in this one. So this is very important. Today, when the slide was taken, it was at 360. So it is kind of stuck in range, but it's still moving up. The key level on this one, of course, is 360. So we're right above that. Now we've kind of been stuck here. If we see it move beyond this, we'll be making a new high on the S&P 500. Hasn't quite done that yet, but it's it may do it soon. What's interesting is Tesla is now going to be part of this index. So it's very important. So there are going to be many funds that are going to have to buy Tesla stock because Tesla is now in the S&P index. And that's kind of, the whole point, which is kind of interesting, is that this can power a stock higher, even though it might be not powered by other things. So I also want to show you the next slide, of course, and I always show this every time, is the Invesco QQQ Trust, which is where kind of all the tech stocks live. It's also powering higher. It's up $2.72 today. It almost at 300. So this is another key level. Interestingly enough, the QQQ is moving into potentially a buy zone. So if you are looking possibly to park some money for a while, this might make sense to buy at this level, because we are in a confirmed uptrend and a buy. So at least for right now, the QQQs are looking really, really good. And of course, this is where all the big tech stocks are. This is, where Apple is, Microsoft, Google, everybody pretty much is in this, is in the Qs. The next slide I want to go to here real quick is Tesla itself, and just want to show you kind of the ascent. I don't think it's totally out of gas, but it may pull back, and so we have to be very kind of careful. We have to start potentially setting our stop losses up. When this slide was taken, Tesla was at 585, and of course, if you've been following the show, you'll know that I started buying basically right below in this run, right below this 465.90 buy point. I started buying a pre-buy at 450, then 465, and then when it crossed the 502 level, I went all in, and of course it's moved up from there. Now the question is, how high can it go? Well, I do think it's probably likely to go higher. But the question, of course, is, how much higher is it likely to go? And this is always a problem when you're looking at something that has moved up so fast so far. Is where to set that stop loss. I don't, it's hard to get gains like this, so be careful if you're in Tesla. Start setting your stop loss up. I'd recommend moving up to probably at least about a 550 on your stop loss on this, so that if it does pull back, you will be sold out at profit. And we do have some nice. We also do indeed have some nice. Some nice profits there that we want to take a look at. The next stock that I want to talk to you about is Palantir. It finally pulled back, and of course, I've been saying this for a few days. It's just moving so fast that you want to, be careful on this. You set a stop loss. What I did is I set a stop loss at 2370, and that's basically right at this little. This little hiccup here, kind of thing. It did pull back. It's currently at 28.12. I do believe that it's gonna consolidate here a little bit, and it may form a base, and this will give us a secondary time to buy a stock. I do think this is going higher, but I think it's going to form a base, and of course, when the stock forms a base, that's when really you can get in with a little bit more safety than just buying it as it's moving up higher. So that at 2370, I think is where you want to have your. I think you want to have your stop loss set there. So that's Palantir. Now let's get into the fun stuff. And of course, the fun stuff, at least for me, are the stocks that I do believe are going to be more. Kind of these are the big winner stocks that that have just been moving up, but they're in no major index. And this is really interesting. This is kind of what happened with Tesla. Tesla has increased in value over 10,000% in 10 years, but it's made most of its gain, right before it's been put into the index. These are some other stocks that we also want to look at in the last year that have just done terrifically. So let's, without further ado, kind of go through some of these, some of these stocks. One of them, of course, is Novamax. That's the top of the list. It's up 2,000% year to date, which is incredible. It's in healthcare. We also have Nautilus. This is a very inexpensive stock, relatively speaking. It's got a 93 composite rating. I've had this on the watch list at times. I may putting it back. It's up 1,000% year to date, which is incredible. There's also another one, Seres Therapeutics, symbol MCRB. It's up 829% year to date. There's and of course Overstock. A lot of people have heard about this one. It's up 725%. Well, 724.8%. Tremendous. Symbol OSTK. Plug Power, which is PLUG. Workhorse Group. We've talked quite a bit about Workhorse Group. I probably should have taken a bigger position in this one. Did take a small position. This isn't sold out. WKHS. Grow Generation. This is another one that I think is very interesting. GRWG. This is the hydroponics company that is primarily servicing the cannabis industry. Also, there's another one here. It's called Celsius, up 604%. CELH, and it's in the consumer staples area. It creates energy drinks. Carparts.com, PRTS, another one that's just done incredible this year. It's in no index, 519.1%. And of course, everybody knows about Zoom at 508. So even though some of these ones you've probably never heard of, they've actually done better than Zoom, which is incredible when you think back on that. So these are some that I think that are very, very interesting. I want to go to another slide that kind of gives you current pricing on these, and you might want to either maybe make a freeze frame of this frame, or I may put this out and send this out as a trade alert, because I think this is kind of important to look at these. Again, these are currently where these stocks are trading, and as you can see, with the exception of Zoom, they're all, well, the exception of Zoom and Novavax, they're all under $100. Now, can a stock that's moved up so far so fast, can it move up even more? Well, actually, yes, because that's what Tesla has proven. So these is a very interesting. This I took the slide just about 5 minutes ago, and as you can see, every one of these is up in terms of price. There's only well, except for two. There's only two Series Therapeutics and Workhorse that are down. Every other one of them is up. So maybe we want to start, possibly looking at these kind of stocks on a regular basis. And I'm going to try to put out some more information on that. But if you want to subscribe, of course, to the action trailers, and this I'm going to be sending out some of the information. It's really easy. All you have to do www.Dallas Trading Floor, and then just go right there and log, and first and last name and email address. And I'm going to send this out so that you can follow along. And I may put this on as a secondary watch list, because it's true that past performance does not equal equal what's going to happen, but in the future. But it's a good starting spot. So I'm going to be doing that hopefully. But you're going to have to be on the action trade alerts. You're going to have to be on that list, in order to do that. Just kind of want to show you again what I currently have in terms of my holdings, in the smart portfolio. And well, it actually all of my holdings. It doesn't just include the small portfolio. Currently, I'm in NET, which is Cloudflare. That's done pretty well. It's up today, pretty amazing. It's up $4.81, or about 6.87. I'm actually going to be sold out of this because I sold a call at 70, so I'm going to be out of this one. The GBTC, the Greystone Bitcoin Trust, I got shaken out of this one today. Currently, it's at 1883. I actually got shaken out at $19. So, there was some definite selling going on. Not a whole lot of volume, but selling. Form Factor, of course, it's up again at 41.55. It's up about 1.42% today. Tupperware is off a little bit, not too much, 45 cents, down about 1.27%. This is one that's done great. Tupperware, I actually sold one of my options at 35, so I'm going to be sold out of partially out of my holdings and with Tupperware. Tesla, of course, it's just kind of speaks for itself. Currently, today, it's at 585.75. If you're in this one, I do recommend moving your stop loss up. I do believe this could pull back. I'm looking at possibly about the 550 level to set my stop loss up to, because if there's a pullback. Palantir, of course, it's down a little bit today, 3.27%, but it's just really adjusting. It's really a price mechanism here. I recommend setting up the stop loss on this one, but I do think this has more to run. So I'm going to hopefully this will form a base. I'll be able to get it out there to everybody as a good buying point for this. But I do think this Palantir, and I've been tracking this for a few weeks, done very well on it, and I think it may go up. Blink Charging, again, it's just amazing. This is kind of the gift that keeps on giving. BLNK, and very interesting company. Of course, they have little charging stations all around, and they bought one of their competitors, EasyGo, and I do think there's going to be a huge demand for their charging stations, because not only everybody is going to be using the supercharging stations. Of course, that's only available to Tesla owners, but there's other EVs coming out now, such as the Nissan Leaf, the Bolt from GM, and there's a lot of other ones too. So they're gonna really benefit from that. Progeny is up 79 cents. This is a very interesting company. I don't have a huge position in this one, but it just keeps on going up. This is a in vitro fertilization insurance kind of HMO thing. And it seems to be very popular in Silicon Valley, doing quite well. I'm up on AMD. This one I'm just kind of hoping it'll start to move above. It's just right at the buy point, 87.16. And of course, PayPal, it's down today, $2.78. So I got to be more patient with PayPal. But I do believe that PayPal, and I think this has to do with the Bitcoin. There was a sell-off apparently in Bitcoin today, so there was a little bit of softness there in that, in those. So without further ado, I just wanted to show you so that you can get on the list to get the action trade alerts. This is the DallasTradingFloor.com website, www.DallasTradingFloor, and then to get on that, to get on the free trade alerts, just go to the front page that's on the home, first, last, and email, and then hit that subscribe button. You're good to go, and you're good to go on that. And of course, this is the most current version of. This is actually what we're broadcasting right now, the most current version of the show. So, without further ado, I've talked quite a bit about that. Let's go to some of the questions. Thank you for holding on, and I hope you all had a really good Thanksgiving. Thoughts on DraftKings and Tesla next buy points? Wow, that's a great question. This is going to be tough because, these have moved up so much that, we're kind of in a situation now where, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to find buy point. Let's look at DraftKings, DKNS. Of course, that's a DraftKings symbol. Well, it would hope if I got it right. DKNG. Yeah. It's that turkey. I have to blame it on something. All right. Let's look for the, let's look to see if we can find a nice buy point on that. Start with a weekly chart here typically. Always start with a weekly. Well, let's look. Okay, well, we have a buy point on it. It's a consolidation base, third stage, 44.79. So right now it's at 52.60. So that's extended, unfortunately. So where could we buy this thing? Wow. It's going to be tough to buy this one because, the proper entry point for this, unfortunately, was 44.73. But, we still want to get into the stock because I do believe it's going higher. So let's look at the daily chart. Let's see if there's any place we can buy this. Now, the best place to buy this is probably going to be at the 40-day line. And currently, that is 47.07. So we're still above that. So be very careful if you do buy at this level. What I would do is I'm going to set an alert on this one at the 40-day line. I'm just going to put an alert on there. And so I want to see it when it's crossed below, this 43.03, 47.03. I want to see when it crosses below. So I don't know if I'll get to this level, but this is what I want to do. So I'm going to set an alert on that. But what I would do is wait a little bit. Now, unfortunately, this is reversed up so that we may not get a chance to buy it at this level. We may have to wait a little bit longer until we get another consolidation. But currently, there's really two places to buy this. One, of course, is the actual buy point at 44.73, and then the other one is going to be off of the 40-day line at 47.07. So we really don't have a good place to buy this one. So we kind of have to watch this. But it's a great stock, and I think it's probably going higher. It's just when you buy extended above a buy point, you have to be careful because then it can pull back very harshly. What you usually want to do is you want to buy right below the buy point or just a tad above the buy point, within about 5% of that buy point, and then you're going to have a little bit more safety if you get a pullback. And I do think that, stocks don't go up in a straight line. They pull back all the time, and so that might give you a little bit more safety. So unfortunately, we're not in a position that we can buy DraftKings. We can buy DraftKings right at this moment. But if we wait until it gets to about 47.07, then I think that we definitely have a good area to buy it in. I'm going to look at Tesla to see if there's any other buy point. Right now it's very, very far extended. Tesla is very, very far extended. That's why I was trying to put out the other buy points because, they typically typically you want to buy at or close or just below a buy point because if you buy above that, then it can pull back. This is one of the reasons I'm suggesting everybody to possibly look to move their buy points up. I'm going to show you the weekly chart. The current buy point on the first stage consolidation. This isn't actually a first stage consolidation, by the way. This is about a third stage. It's just the way my software is reading it as a first stage. It really isn't a first stage. It has to do more with the with the recognition software and the fact that the scaling on this. But this is really about a third stage. but the pivot on this is 502, which we're way above that now. So what do we do? Where can we buy this thing? Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait on this one until we possibly get, we possibly get these lines, these lines catching up. So we're going to have to wait. So, but I do think I'm seeing, at least based on this chart, I'm seeing a little bit of a basing action at about the 570 level. But will it come down to that? I don't know. I don't know if it will. I don't know if it will come down to that 570 level, but that unfortunately is not a really good buy point. So currently, Tesla is not in a buy range, and it's sad because I think it's going further up. I do think that if we consolidate right about the 600 level, which may happen, or maybe a little bit below 585, then wait for consolidation and then see how it moves beyond that. So it's kind of frustrating to when this kind of thing happens, when something moves up so fast, and then you're looking and you're trying to find a place to buy it. So really no place to buy Tesla at this moment on Friday. We're going to kind of have to wait, and that sucks because that's the way it works. What's the most? Well, I've made a lot of. There are several days that I've made a lot of money. That is true. I don't. I actually have probably, there's a few stocks that I've made a lot of money on. Okay, before we enter, we should have to take. Before we enter, we have. Okay, I'm looking at the TikTok feed here. Let's see if I can find something. What's a solid Palantir prediction for the next year? Not sure if you want to cover it. Well, here's the thing about Palantir. Palantir, I think, is going to be, there's another one, of course, everybody knows about. And my brother, we were talking about this last night, well, actually, for Thanksgiving, and that's Snowflake. I think Palantir is going to move a lot higher in the next year. Now, how can it double? Can it triple? You know what? I think so. I think so. Is it going to? Who knows? You never know what's going to happen. But I think that Palantir is one of those kind of stocks you kind of want to have on your buy list, because I do think that, come over the next year, I think it's going to go very much higher. And I easily see this being, right now, Palantir, and I'm going to show you the live chart on this one. Right now, Palantir is selling for $28.43. Now, am I saying that's the deal of the century? Well, no, but it's darn good. It's darn good. This is a good price. I think it's probably going to double, at least double next year, and maybe even triple. Who knows? There's just a lot of demand for this stock. I don't know why, but I have to say, I think it's due to the fact that Peter Thiel is the one of the lead investors in this, and Peter Thiel has just been incredibly successful with Facebook and Tesla and PayPal, and I think Palantir is definitely going to be added to that list. So, is there a good place to buy this? No, but I tell you, there's a lot of interest in it. This thing just comes out of the chute in September, and they've already got 68 funds in it. I mean, there are companies that are listed for many years that don't have 5 funds. So this is looking good. Now, this is a checklist. The checklist is still 6 out of 9. I'd like to see a better checklist, but the sales have been increasing tremendously. So, and they just kind of are ratcheting up here. Look at that. The sales are going. It's still in a loss position, but it is a growth company. So that's not great. But one of the reasons I think this one may move very, very strongly next year is that it's already doing this well, and it only has 7% fund ownership. Now, typically, a stock will perform the best when it goes from about 20% fund ownership to about 65%, and I definitely think that's the case. That's going to be the case with Palantir. So it's one that you kind of want to keep on your watch list, and moving forward. So it's one that I think you want to really keep on your watch list. And appreciate the question. Oh, Palantir is all over the place, up 20%, down. Yeah, probably time to sell it. Well, Ollie, I don't think so. I think that this is what they call a shakeout. Okay. Now, if you bought it correctly at the buy point, and how many people did that? I did, but only because I was watching for it. But the buy point on this one basically on a first stage basis 1142. So, did I buy it that low? No, I wish I did, but that's the buy point. So I think what's going on right now, Ollie, is that we're having a shakeout. And when you have a shakeout, a lot of what they call the weak holders get shaken out. And I think that's what's happening, but I don't think it's over with yet. I don't. I think this next year is going to be very strong for it. GBTC doesn't track BTC very well, down more than BTC. Maybe Coinbase Pro is a better option. Well, absolutely, Ollie. That's potentially true. The GBTC is a ETF, so doesn't follow exactly the price of Bitcoin. It doesn't follow exactly the price of Bitcoin, but I do think it still has legs. I mean, even though I did shake it out of it, and I did sell in the small portfolio. Just to give you a quick look at that. I did sell it today, and I actually, I made a slight loss. I think I lost. Let's see, overall, I didn't have all that much, but I did have some. And I did sell it today at 1850. I actually had to stop it at 19, and I got stopped out of it. I lost about 1% on it, but I'll probably be back in when it forms another good base. This is the reason why it's so important to buy at or near good bases, and that's what it protects you from. So I appreciate that question very much. Happy Friday! Thanks, Kyle Johansson. Appreciate the chat from YouTube. What's your thought on lumber liquidators? I've had this on the list. I've owned this thing actually. I actually like it. Now I think next year it's going to be a little bit of a difficult time for physical retailers. But I do think that the home improvement area is one of those bright spots. Now, it did pull back a little bit. Let's take a look at the chart. It did pull back a little bit here today. As you can see, it's down about 49 cents. Not a lot, really. Only about 1.62%. The question is, where is there a buy point? Well, it's right back into the buy zone. So let's look at lumber liquidators. Let's do the smell test on it. Well, 7 out of 9. That's great. Increasing fund ownership. That's excellent. Let's look at industry. The industry is 85 out of 179. So that's reasonable too. Now we do have, in terms of tactically, today obviously wouldn't be a typically good idea to buy it because we do have this relative strength indicator line here, and it is pointing downward, as you can see. So we want to wait until this thing moves upward to buy. We always want to buy an uptick, and we always want to sell an uptick. We don't want to basically do nothing. We want to hide when it's going down. There is a pivot on this one, and it is a cup with handle first stage. The pivot on lumber liquidators is 28.48. I'm going to put that out there in the chat. I think this is a good stock. Pivot equals 28, and let's see if 28.48. So let's see, did I get that out there? Okay, I'm just going to put that out there to everybody on the chat, and there you go. Thank you, Kyle. That's where I would buy it. It's right in a buy zone right now. It's and what the buy zone is, just to reiterate on what the Can Slim buy zone is, and of course I'm a Can Slim trader, is if you take the pivot point and you multiply that times 1.05, we're basically 5% above that pivot point. That is a safe place to buy in. Even if there's a pullback, it's likely not to pull through that base. So that's why we're looking to buy at these buy points. The way a stock moves typically up or down is that it will move to these sort of like little resting places. And these little resting places are the pivot points. And they typically will be, if you identify a chart pattern, those will be a pivot point. Now, right now, this chart pattern is what they call a consolidation chart pattern. But there's other ones such as cup with handle. And I'm going to be hopefully starting to do some some videos basically over the weekend to show everybody kind of how to identify some of these chart patterns, because they're so helpful in terms of buying stock. But I like lumber liquidators. I don't know if I would go in with a full position on this one, but you could definitely buy a half position at this level. And the level currently is 29.90. Now it looks like it may have pulled just above the buy zone. Let me see if that's true. Yeah. It's just right about 5% away from the pivot. So if you're looking to buy it, you might want to let it pull back a little bit. It's pulling down. You typically, when you buy a stock, you don't want to buy it as it's pulling back. Wait until it reverses. But I definitely think you want to get this ready if you want to buy a position of this. I wouldn't start with a full position of this. I would start with a half position. And the way you calculate, of course, a position is you take the net value of your portfolio, you divide it by 8, and then you have 8 full positions. And so you want to basically go in this with no more than about a 16th of a position. So thank you very much for that, Kyle. Appreciate the info. I do like lumber liquidators a lot, by the way. I'm currently not in it, but I do. I've owned the stock before, and I think it's a good one. Before we enter, should we have taken a look? Absolutely. You should always look carefully before you enter the stock market. That's important. What I'm doing here, and you can't see it, unfortunately, on the feed for YouTube, but I am basically going through questions, and thank you very much for submitting them through TikTok, and I'm trying to see if I can get a good answer for you. What are your thoughts on CARR? Thanks in advance. And this is Alpha Bravo _214. So I think these guys might be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So Alpha Bravo, thank you for that question. CARR. Let's look to see on the chat. Okay, this is Carrier. Now, interestingly enough, I have to disclosure to make. At one time, back when the dinosaurs ruled the earth, I was a financial analyst for a company called Pratt & Whitney, which is part of United Technologies, of which Carrier at one time was part of. This company was spun off, and this is a great company, by the way. Carrier Air Conditioning. They actually invented the air conditioner. So this is a very, very good company. Industrial, but highly profitable, lots of patents, and worldwide distribution. Just a terrific company. That has a relative strength of 95. That is good. That is very, very good, especially for an industrial company. Let's look at the checklist. This is the minimum that I would buy on the checklist, but it's still good. 6 out of 9. Let's look at the ownership of the funds. It's a pulled back a little bit, but it still has 1,437 funds. So this is looking quite good. And also Vanguard Prime Cap is in this. This is a very good fund that I happen to know. Let's look at the sector. The only problem is because this is industrial and because this is less growthy, I don't know if that's a word or not, growthy, it is 124 out of 197. So it's a little bit low on the industry rank. But one of the things I like about this company, and I want to look at the profitability here, and this is essentially I'm doing both technical and fundamental analysis here, but one of the things I want to show you is this company tends to be, potentially quite profitable and reliable. It's just gone back to profitability. It's up 4% this quarter, as you can see on this chart. We have 50% funds in this, so we're still in that very, very good sweet spot of funds coming in. 50% funds own this stock, 50% retail investors. Typically from about 20% fund ownership up to about 65% fund ownership. That's where we see most of the increase in the stock price. And remember, it's the funds, not the individual investors, that tend to push the funds up. So that tend to push the stock price up. So I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. For an industrial company, this is looking very, very good. Let's also look at, let's kind of look to see, and this is again fund ownership. It is decreased a little bit, which is a little bit, I would like to see this increase, but I'm still very bullish on this one. And again, I like this area because it's kind of one of those evergreen products. It doesn't matter how the economy's doing, but it does matter if you're cool and comfortable, and air conditioning is a very good business in general, and this is probably the market leader. Now, is there anything else that I can discern from this chart? Well, I tell you, there's a very interesting thing. Normally, big companies like this, you see a lot of insider selling, but interestingly enough, there is significant insider buying in this one. So this is a good company. Now, how is there a place we can buy this thing? Is there entry point that we can go? There really isn't. There is no real formation. The formation really is going to be a pullback to the 20 to this green 21-day exponential. Can you buy it at that? Well, if this thing reverses off of the 21-day and falls in, you want to make sure that you don't buy it until it reverses. But if this reverses, then this is definitely, you could buy this. I wouldn't have any more than a half position in this one, but I do think this is strong. I mean, look at this trend. Let's look at the weekly chart. We always look at the weekly chart for trend, and as you can see, this is a very, very good trend. Now let's look at the channel to kind of see how it potentially will trade. I think that it looks as if, based on this channel analysis here, that this is pulled back. I think we're going to get a bounce. I think we're going to get a bounce at the 21-day exponential, and then when this thing reverses, I think you could go in this, and I think you might get a, and I'd see if that trend line is right. I drew that a little bit too liberally. This is more of the trend line. There we go. I think we could get a movement if this thing reverses up to about the $46 level. So that's that's potentially a $10 gain in this one that we might get. But we don't want to buy it until it reverses. But I definitely think we can buy it off that 10-day line. So I really like this one, and I think that might be a good way to go. But where would I buy this? Well, I would try to see if I could buy it off of the 21-day exponential. I'm going to shift the charts here, and that is right here, basically 31.61. So we're very, very close to that. Don't buy it now because it is in a downward trend. Wait until we see an uptrend. If we see an uptrend next week, then you might want to consider getting into it. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. Yeah, and as you can see, we did have it pulled back. It sought that level, and that level here is basically, this is the floor, about 37.40, and then it bounced, and so I do think that it's moved up towards the close today. So I think if this thing opens higher, you might have a buy there. So thank you so much for that question. That's an excellent excellent stock, an excellent watch list. Carrier's symbol CARR. So fantastic. Okay. Oh, a $4,500 loss in HOF. Should I sell or buy? Let's look at that first. Here's the rule, and this is the hardest rule to do. When I first started trading, I had this thing where I would hold on too long, and I would round trip stocks and all that stuff. And this is such a hard thing to learn because this is not natural in terms of this is not natural in terms of how you look at a stock. But SP, let's look at this. We have had a pull up here. So we moved down significantly, and then we've pulled back up to about the 60 cents level. You know what? I wouldn't be in the stock. This is Hall of Fame Entertainment and Resort. This is a penny stock, and these stocks are extremely volatile. Yes, you can make money in penny stocks, but the likelihood that you're going to make money on is very unlikely because they're very volatile. I would sell this thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about position trading. What you want to do is it doesn't matter how many shares that you have in a stock, if you have the right stocks. So buy better stocks with fewer shares, and then you're going to get better results. For instance, if you say had a few $100, let's say you had $500 of this stock, sell it and buy one share of Tesla. One share of Tesla is better than 100 shares of this one, I'm afraid. So that's just that's how the small portfolio is laid out. And I want to kind of direct your attention to the smart portfolio, and if you could see how it works. You see, this is a small portfolio. By the way, this is available if you go to www.Dallas Trading Floor and first and last name and subscribe, and then I'll send you a link to this, and you'll be good to go. But basically, what you do here is that you change the you what you do here is you adjust the amount of shares that you have based on so you can buy very expensive stocks. Like when I went into Tesla here, it was $462. This was about 10 days ago when I started accumulating it, and as you can see now it's 585. Well, I got all this gain, but I only had 4 shares, so I actually have done very well in this. But I only have 4 shares, so penny stocks are a fool's paradise. You try to buy better stocks, fewer shares, and that may help you. If I were in a position that I lost at this point, cut your losses now. If you're down more than 7%, you always want to cut your losses because you don't want to cut into your capital base, because you can round trip stocks very, very easily. They can go up and come down, and then you're no better off. So if you let the stocks go up, you push your stop loss up, they pull back, you're sold out, everybody's happier, and you keep more of your you keep more of your green, and that's the important thing. Mega Homes. Can we check out Beam? It's been cruising. Thanks. Well, let's take a look at Beam, and I'm going to pull that up to see if we've got anything there. BEAM is the symbol, and Beam Therapeutics. It's just done great, by the way. Very nice chart. This is an IPO base, but very nice chart. Looking quite good. We first go to the weekly chart and look at the general trend here. The general trend has been just great. I mean, it's moving very, very nicely. As you can see, well, if I can get my line to draw properly. Okay, come on, baby. There we go. Yeah. Anyways, it's moving right up. It's not really at a good buy point right now. The last buy point on this one, on a consolidation base, first stage consolidation base, it was $31. It's currently $48, so it's very extended. It's up $6.54 today. So if you're not in this one already, I recommend waiting. Wait a little bit on this one. If you're not in it, wait for a base to form, and then we might have something that we can do. Let's look at the daily chart to see if there's any entry point. There was a bit of a consolidation here, as you can see. This is kind of this little area in here. This is what I call a consolidation, where it's sort of up, down, up, down, up, down, and it kind of follows this line. This line here, this green line, this is the 21-day exponential, and you can see it's just kind of moving right up that, so staying above that. So yes, you can buy this if it pulls back to this line, but this isn't really really good place to buy it. But the stock is doing great. Look at this, relative strength of 96, and we have an upward trending line. You see how that blue line is upward trending? That means that we actually, if we wanted to move into the stock, we could, because it's moving up, and we have good volume as well. But right now, it's not a very good time to enter the stock based on this chart. It's very likely to fall back. And how do I know that? Well, what you do is you go over here to the weekly chart, and you draw a channel. And so the channel really starts from about here, and it moves up like that. You see, that's the channel. Okay, so it's getting to the top of the channel, as you can see. So this is very likely to pull back, and it probably will pull back to about this 40-day line here. So that's kind of what I want to show you, though. So is this is this a good place to buy? Is this a good place to enter at this price at 48.20? I would say no. Let's wait until this one comes and pulls back to the 21-day exponential. So let's see if we can see that on the daily chart. All right, going back here. So currently, it's probably buyable, but it's buyable at this level. So let's see kind of where that's at. That's going to be basically, let's see, that's going to be about $38.86, so $39. If this thing pulls back to about $39 and reverses, then you can possibly buy it, because it's going to bounce off this 21-day exponential line. So that it's a very good stock. Don't buy it right now because it's just not ready. Get it ready. Get it on the watch list. See if this thing pulls back to about $39 or possibly $40 a share, and then I think you might have a great buy. But if you're in this thing right now, push your stop loss up. Keep it above that $41, $42 range. So you want to make sure that you're pushing. If you're in the stock now, push that stop loss up. It's making a run. It's going to pull back, and when it pulls back, that is the time to either sell out or to potentially buy it as it rebounds. So it's kind of like, stocks move in a channel and then they move to the top of the channel. They typically then pull back and test the bottom of the channel, and they sort of do this ping pong ball up on an upward trend. So right now, not the ideal place to buy it, but it's definitely watch listable. So great question. Thank you very, very much for that. Thoughts on snow? My brother and we were eating. I went over to my brother's house for Thanksgiving dinner last night. Just a little sidebar here. We were sitting there, and we started talking about, to the chagrin of a lot of other people, we were talking about snow, because I do think there's some good opportunities on there. And it's pulled, interestingly enough, Snowflake is really in what I consider a price discovery mode. So it's a little bit risky to buy this one right now because it hasn't really formed a good enough buy point. But there is a buy point that I want to show you on this one, and it is essentially a first stage consolidation. Usually that's the first one that comes out at about 301. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put out on Snow, SNOW, the pivot is equal to 301 on the pivot on that. And I'm going to have to sneeze here because I just, hold on. Achoo! should be. There we go. Okay, well I should be back on. Now, hopefully I didn't. I didn't kill all the stuff here. Maybe I did. I'm down to 49. I'm down to 19. So I guess I did. I guess my sneeze turned everything off. So let's just go keep on going here. Okay, so let's look at Baba. Let's look at Baba and see if I can give you a good idea with Baba. BABA. And that's Alibaba. Right now, the chart for Alibaba just doesn't look, doesn't look that good. Unfortunately, we have a downward trend on the chart. It's got a relative strength of 74. I don't think you want to be in this run right now. Checklist is 77, and the ownership. Oh goodness, it's still good, but we don't. I don't think you want to be in Baba right now. Just is not the time to be in Alibaba. Okay, so no sound. So I apologize for that. Okay, can't hear anything. Ouch, ouch, no sound. No sound, no sound, no sound. We can't. Oh boy, I apologize for that. And I guess everyone's pretty much left because of that. But I got the sound back on, so hopefully there we go. Okay. Oops. There we go. All right. So let's see if I can give you some more stuff on the chat. Okay. Joined. Okay. Palantir. Okay. Well, so Palantir. So let's go over Palantir. That's probably the last thing today is Palantir. And apologize for the sound. I guess the sound was off on YouTube, but it wasn't on TikTok, so that's a good thing. Palantir, PLTR. Let's look at Palantir again. I did go over this earlier, and I definitely want to go over it again. There was a pullback on Palantir here. There was a pullback on Palantir, a pretty severe pullback actually, but it seems like it's gotten legs at about the 2666 level, so it's off a little bit. I would definitely, if I was in this one, I would be setting, and well, actually, I am in this one. So what am I saying? If I was, I am in this one. I have set my stop loss right about this level here, which is right below about $25. I do think there's going to be another opportunity to buy Palantir, probably next week. I think we're going to see a little bit of consolidation between about the 25 to 30. I think we're going to see a little bit of consolidation, and when it consolidates, that's where we're going to have an opportunity to buy Palantir again. But right now, with Palantir, I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult to buy Palantir at this level because there just isn't a consolidation on it. So that's kind of my take on Palantir. Okay. No sound on YouTube. Ouch. Okay. Well, I appreciate. Thank you for telling me that, and hopefully we're back up. I just want to go through my list of stocks that you might want to put on your watch list that have done incredibly well in the last year, but they're not no major indexes. By the way, these stocks, Tesla has gone up 10,000% in 10 years before it was put on the S&P 500. So, a stock can be out of an index for a very long time, and then, you look around and you say, wow, why wasn't this on the index? I don't know, but sometimes it's like that. I want to go over several stocks here that have, potentially some very, very good, that are very, very good. Novavax has gone up in VAX 2,000% year to date. Nautilus, symbol NLS, 1,000%. Series Therapeutics, MCRB, 829%. And the one that everybody thought was incredible, Zoom, 508 since the first of the year. So, but here's the thing about these stocks. These stocks are not overly expensive because I want to show you I want to show you the the current prices on these. And these are stocks that all are up over 500% year to date. As you can see, there's only two of them, Zoom and no Invax, that are over $100. So, we're still at a point when you can absolutely do well. So you might want to put these on your watch list. NLS, Nautilus, and I definitely have it. Plug Plower, that's another good one. Workhorse is off a little bit, but that's still a really good one. Grow Generation, of course. And this one that I really like is called CarParts.com. So I really like this one. So those are stocks that you can put on your list and and do well. So hopefully I now have sound on YouTube. Let's see if I go back there. I've been having my audio. Well, okay, we're doing good. We're on there as well. Okay, well, yeah, I have run over. I've about an hour and 10 minutes. But if you'd like to, to get on the action trade alerts, it's super duper easy to do. All you have to do is go to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and I'll put that right up here for the free action trade alerts. I will be back on Monday at 2:30. I hope to see you then. And until then, happy trading.